Yes, Pradeep. Yeah.
Yeah, also started the session. So yeah, yesterday, where were we? We had just automated a test case. And, what sort of test case? If you would see, we had added this test case, invalid function test case, and then we had created this one with this error message and things. So uh, let's just check if we were able to execute it properly. I'll just right click on this and run in Scratchbook or F6. So in this case, I'll just close this. Let's run Oracle cloud license. It's clicking on login. It's entering. This is what email ID. It should I enter email? Is it taking time? Entering email ID, password, and clicked on login. There was an error message, and should verify this error message. Verified, and just mouse hovering on that field. So this is
But Pradeep, at bottom, we are able to see that error message. But it was successful, right? Why that still was displayed?
oh sorry, what was that?
No, no, your screen was navigated with the code, whatever you have written. But at the bottom, we were able to see the error code, elapsed time, and the other part.
Uh, at the bottom in the sense
No,
didn't get
not
you.
right now. You closed it. That's one. The error message.
Okay, when we close this error message, bottom you're saying.
Elapsed
On
time, and it is showing, right? Tosca supposed to show the delay time and the other one.
uh delay time.
You actually that waiting time was displayed. I thought there is a delayed in the login screen like that. So
Okay. After login, somewhere when it was entering email ID, you're saying, is it?
yeah, but still the screen is moving, but still that error message was showing.
Okay. Screen after an error message, then Tosca, the next step, what it was doing is it was see what it did. It clicked on login, it verified page, entered username, entered password, and clicked on login. As soon as it has entered password and clicked on login on the page, we can see that error message immediately. And then after what Tosca is doing, Tosca would be verifying that error message, right? So you mean why it has taken long time to verify, is it?
No, not exactly. I'll record that small one and I'll show you maybe in the group.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, you can
So
continue.
yeah. So this is what we have written the script yesterday, and now yeah, it is working fine. And we said verify invalid login functionality. So here we were giving. So with this, you can also see what here we are giving password, login, username as well. So same thing, what we can do is in one module, we can give username, we can give password here, we can give login uh, thing, click this thing. In one module, we can give it, and then we don't even need this step. Only in one step, yeah, it basically performs 3 steps again in one. And then one we can remove, and we can say entering credentials or entering, again, to be more specific, you generally, yes, we can write the login, entering login credentials, or to that step, or we can say what, entering username, password, and then clicking on login, to be more specific, that way. Yeah, anything, whatever is feasible. Just general practice, yes. Depending on the what test step is, what manual test step is, on that basis, yes, you can rename these things. So, and here verifying error login. So error message is what we were verifying. And okay, here invalid, you're talking about this one. In this module, we had what? We had scanned. One was login was unsuccessful kind of error message, but then another was invalid login credentials. Jump. If you see this one, what this element is, this one is of inner text credentials provided are incorrect. So this is one error message. So to understand what LI is, we don't even know what LI would be here. So you can rename this to some kind of error message, or just this, what I would say, with the same kind of message, we can rename it to. Just trying to rename. I guess my system is a bit slow today. So it should be restarting it. So here, yes, I can write it here. So this is what the credentials provided is wrong. But here, if you see here, it is no customer account found. So when you give this Gmail ID, actually there is no such customers. That's why it is giving this message. So we haven't scanned that kind of message, but we have scanned what the credentials. This one, credentials provided are incorrect. So this error message, when we get this one, if the email ID that we have entered is registered in the application, and but it is entering the wrong credential, then we get that message. So if we are entering some email ID which is not registered in this thing, so it says no customer found. That is another error message. So how we can do? We can just say right click and then rescan it, and go here, select this one. You can scan that way, or uh, other thing that you can do is, yes, you can assume only the inner text might be changing it here, and here just the text is changing. So earlier one was, here we were getting that message, invalid login credentials were entered, kind of some message, right? That were entered. Instead of this, we are getting this message now. So what we can do is same thing. This is the element that is there, is what we can assume. Copy, Control C, copy this, click here, Control V. So we are pasting it here, and then here, what are we saying? We would be changing the inner text. So inner text of this would be what? I would say copy. So this elements inner text, it would be copy from here, paste, no customer account found, and now, so name wise, naming conventions, if you see what it does, so if you are naming two things same, what Tosca would do is it adds _1. So again, if you just keep on adding _2, 3, 4, it keeps that. So this credentials provided are incorrect _1. What is this? This means it is the properties of this. The main thing is what property it holds. So since it holds the property of tag li and inner text with this, so it is not going to check for this credentials are provided are incorrect. It is not going to check this. It is checking the properties of this element. So if you use this one in the test case, so I will click, drag, and then go to the test case section. So here, if I just drop it, see here. Now here, if we just try to verify if this message is shown, which the credentials provided are incorrect one, which is obviously we know it is not there uh, on the page. So when some element is not there on the page, and if you are saying exist, check for existence of that particular element to be true. Right click and run. When you do this, see, would obviously be failing, and the failure reason, if you would see, verification has failed. What is the verification? So we expected it to be true, but actual was false. So it was that way. Now, since this we already know this element won't be there, so we will remove this one, and we know the next one. The next one is, we are not checking for this one, as I said. This is just the name of that property module attribute, but uh, the property of that attribute you have seen, like inner text with no customer was found, that part, right? So that one I will try to verify it here. Verify. We can say exist, or we can say enable, that element is enabled, present, and then enabled, or visible. Visible equals to true. We can use any of these properties. So now if I just execute, say it should pass if the li and tag is li and the inner text is no customer account found. So if you see this green, which means yes, it is correct. So verification was successful, and expected and actual was in this way, which is fine. Now let's say you had so another thing that you can do is verify, but then here instead of this, let's say we are taking inner text of that element, and the value to be what, no customer account found. Let's say we are taking this one, so we can even verify this one, making sure uh, the properties inner text is this, just verify. And if we just run now, it should say no customer account found. Expected was that, and actual is also the same thing. So we can give that as an inner text. If you see the verification message, expected was this, actual is also this. Now let's say your expected is no customer account, instead of account it was, let's say, requirement, they say accounts, no customer accounts found is what is expected. And now actual in the application, we get it in the application. When we execute it, we are getting no customer account found, which means there is some mismatch, right? If there is a mismatch, we see this is red in color, which means something is failing. And when you see verification, it has failed. Why it has failed? Expected was no customer accounts was found, but here it is no customer account found. So there is some difference in expected and actual. There it goes. Either one thing, uh, it can be some application issue. The developers has not built in an expected or the business requirement way. Or the second thing is, you might be not aware of the functionality and you're not expecting the correct value. Either of that should be the scenario. Now, in this case, so when you
Pradeep,
go,
Pradeep,
yeah,
in generic scenario in Tosca, see in functional testing we usually collect the evidences and stuff, right? So when we
yeah,
execute, so is there any scenario like this over here?
uh, collect the evidences in the sense you want screenshots.
Screenshots are, yeah, you do collect, like, in Tosca, or like how does it work?
Yeah. So, just in simple terms, if you can just tell, what do you mean by evidences? What you want?
मतलब screenshots here. Yeah,
Correct. Correct.
screenshots.
Screenshot. So, in that simple terms, when it is screenshots, okay. If you are just verifying this thing, and after execution, you want to show it to some developer or someone, to any business stakeholders or anyone, if they want to see our script is working fine, and step by step, if they want screenshots, yes, even that we can do it. How we can do is, in this step now, since we have verified, and after verification, we will just try to add the screenshot. How we can add screenshot? Just right click, search and add test step. And in here, we have something called take screen take screenshot. So T-box take screenshot, which is coming from what? T-box automation tool, basic window operation, and a screenshot. So if you see here, yes, we have this screenshot. And now the thing is, which, what all options we are getting? We are getting environment, directory, and then file name. So file name is mandatory, which is input. We need to specify file name, but then these two are optional. And let's say I'm taking screenshot of failure verification, failed verification message, file name, right?
We can take screenshots for all, Pradeep, or is it like, like for example, there are like around 7 to 8 test steps. Okay, we can take
Yeah.
screenshots for all.
Yes. So this step you have to just keep on repeating for every step, every now and then over here. You just have to do it. Uh,
Okay.
so file name, here I'm giving it, let's say, this one. And if I just try to execute, let me see the default one. I haven't tried it, but let's see where this default one would go. Let's see that. So if you see this is passed, so what it does is it takes this screenshot, whatever is visible. So that screenshot is what it takes. The screenshot was successfully created, it says. And details, if you see where that screenshot is, it is in the C projects, Tosca commander screenshot, and then this one .jpg. So this is our this thing. So you can go to this, copy this location, click, then paste it. Oh, okay. So let's say Tosca projects. What was the location? Tosca projects, commander, and then screenshot. So commander and then screenshot. And then here you see the default thing. So failed screenshot. Failed verification screenshot is what it has taken. And if we just open it, we would also see the same thing. That screenshot has been taken. Same way, now if you would, okay, you don't want that at a default location and you want it at a specific location. So what could be that specific location? Instead of this thing somewhere,
Specific instance as we use a snipping tool or something like that, that particular location. That's what you mean.
yes, snipping, and then we save it some location in our system, right? So that
Yeah, yeah.
location, if you want to save, so I will keep it here. I will say uh, Tosca execution uh, directory. I will say I'll just create this explicitly, and then in this I will say this is what screenshots folder, and other I can keep some reports kind of thing. So for now, screenshots, yes, I want all my screenshots to be in this particular location. So what we can do, copy that path, come here and paste it here. So when you give this directory with this value and then file name with this thing. So when we give this, so when we execute this all at once, so okay, if you want, I would just do it quickly. And also, like as I said, this is what we are taking screenshot for failed verification method. So screenshot, you can rename it to anything. I will just say screenshot verification for invalid login functionality. I can say this one, and I can give this same file name instead of this file name as well to be more specific. So I've taken this one, right? Same way, copy this. Let's say you also want to take the screenshot as soon as you have entered the username or while login page is displayed. Let's say after verifying login page is displayed, you just want that sort of screenshot. So we can even give this. So make sure you don't give any special characters in your name. Verify login page is displayed with welcome message. So I give this one. So if you see there are,
Pradeep, in this
yeah,
case, we are explicitly giving this a screenshot. But my question is,
yeah,
usually we take the screenshot whenever our test step got failed. So
right.
can't we
Yeah.
give automatically whenever it gets failed, then only ask it to take the
We
screenshot?
can. We can do that. So that I would explain when we are when I'm going through this. There's something called recovery scenario in Tosca. So at that time, I would show you how we can take screenshots while failure thing. Okay.
Okay. And what about recording video? Is it also the same way? Usually we record install explicitly and try to record the session error part to show to the developers. So will it?
Recording
Yes, yes.
recording.
Screen
So
recording.
Tosca doesn't allow us like there's no such option to record this execution flow. But yeah, explicitly if you want, you can install some recording thing in your system, and then one just before you start your execution, you can record your screen thing. So
Pradeep,
that way you
there is
can do
something
and
called record automated test case on the right,
uh,
right? Yeah.
yeah, this is actually a different feature again. And then in this what it does is uh, so initially this steps this things whatever we created is of like manually we did it, right? So with Tosca when we do so record is what the user actions. So if you have opened the URL, and if you have just entered email ID, password, and then clicked on this, so that actions is what it gets captured, and that action captured thing later it might convert it in the steps. And so to be frank, I haven't used this option, but yes, if you can just explore and see how this is functioning. But in real time, yes, we don't use this. We haven't used it, and yeah, this is the something latest we have got it. But then I'm not sure exactly about its functionalities and how exactly it is behaving. So just as a practice, yes, you just see it and then see how it is working on that part. So is it just recording the action, user actions, and creating a test case, or it also records the execution flow? If it does, then yeah, good. We can see into that part if you want. Uh, but then yes, in when we do it, we didn't use this because the major thing is we won't be relying on this because the elements that it might take, this is with experience, not with experience to Tosca, but with other tool when I used like Selenium, we also have some recording thing. So when it records the element properties, Tosca would give some default ones. And when Tosca would give some default things, uh, so with page change, even this might get changed. And that's where the recorded test script might get failed. So we have to again revisit this thing. So the properties that it would be taking can be of what we want is different, and what it takes is in a different way. So that can be a reason we are not using this recorded thing. And yeah, that for now I would say only that part wherein this recorded, yes, we are not using it currently. So since I have executed it, it has also taken screenshots. Now if you see this thing, the screenshots are here with verification for invalid login functionality, and verify login page is displayed with welcome message. So if you see this screenshot now, see this thing, uh, welcome page. So login page is displayed. Our screenshot name, that's where you just have to be more specific what screenshot name you are giving. You are saying login page is displayed with welcome message. So we can see welcome message and a login page. So with this, yes, it has taken a proper one what we want. And the other one was verification for invalid login functionality. So if you see here, that error message is also captured. So this is what, yes. So if you want, we can share this with the developer and step-by-step screenshot. And also there's something called
Pradeep, you said
uh,
it's like, a particular, I would say functionality. So you said we can take a screenshot in that way, right? Like for
particular
example, if you go back to the screenshot,
yeah.
yeah. Uh, can we just take the screenshots as of snipping tool? Like, for example, there is something called returning customer, right? So we
Yeah,
can just take that part or something like that as of snipping tool.
only this. No, I don't think so, Nawaz. Only this particular part specific to this. So in that case, what you have to do is explicitly you, with this screenshot, it takes the screens this thing. But if you want any elements particular screenshot, then you might have to write some custom code. So custom thing, and that's custom requirements, right? So based on that, yes, you can take it that way. Then you have to use custom modules. You have to write that thing in C sharp .NET thing, get that module here and use that module in your test case, so that element, whatever element you just specify, only that element's screenshot is what it would take.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, this thing. So step by step, yes, you can even write screenshots saying open application. After opening application, you can take screenshots saying application is opened. And then after clicking on login, you can say login link clicked. Or just before that, you can say uh, about to click login. So anything that you want, you can take that screenshot. And once you have that screenshot, step by step, yes, you can just refer it, open and see, and you can refer those screenshots. So that is about this one with this thing and verification message. So we know now, since it was failing and we were verifying this thing, so we came to know end of the day, or this particular functionality, that whatever we were expecting is wrong, and whatever application is was showing was right. So we came to know that, and that's where we are changing our expected thing. But if you are sure, okay, our expected is correct and only application has to change, then we need to report this to developer, and developer would be fixing that and then giving us. And then we once he said okay, it is done, you can execute your script and you can check if this step is passing, then yes, developer has done the change. Else not, you can see again, show the whatever error message it shows. So that is how yes, you can use it. So this is about login in valid functionality and about modules. So I was also talking about, so we can copy paste a thing and then change it, or since this is again related to login, we don't even have to take a new module. What we can do is, so this module, let's say we want only this element, copy this particular part and go to the module, come here, paste it, and after clicking on login, yes, we can get this error message. And since this is in same page, we can keep it this way, uh, or else if you don't keep it this way, and you want this one, that error message to be coming here, then right click, rescan this, and then when you just rescan, it tries to rescan the properties. So rescan is what it takes time, depending on how many elements you have for Tosca and all. That's where I prefer very rare rescanning a new module. What I would do is also rescanning. Uh, what it would do is it would change the property. So existing, let's say we had login, we had username, we had password, email things, and that property, if something is changed, and when we are rescanning, even their properties, so this email, password, login, their properties, if something is changed, it also changes this one. And when it is changing and when we are saving it, so the existing, we didn't wanted to change any of this, but when you are rescanning some properties, Tosca automatically rescans and then changes some properties. So that's where we just have to be very careful in what has been changed. If not, if you just leave it and keep it, and only thing is what we wanted this error message thing, right? So what I'll do is click on, select on screen, and then this li, I can click this or this one, so this two error messages, and I'll leave this. So we have got that two error messages. One is this, so in this error message I'm fine with this tag and this thing, but li, just the tag is li, and I would take inner text as no customer account found. So that error message, and to rename instead of li, I would say our element name is this one. So it is more relevant, uh, this thing, and I'm fine with what all properties it is showing. So this is how you can just rescan and click on save. So as soon as you have saved, uh, so with this element properties, even the existing element, so we haven't done anything to the existing uh, elements, right? Existing, when it is like what, email id, password, and login. So those elements as well, we haven't changed it, but when we rescan it, some properties internally, even Tosca would rescan it and change the properties, update it. And if it is showing in this thing, it is still fine, which means it is unique, it is finding. But sometimes when the page changes, if it has taken some dynamic value, and when it is okay, when you have saved, when you run for the first time, yes, it would be running, but the second time it might not run. And later when you check what has gone wrong in that element email id field, while earlier it was working but now it is not, when you check it, it would show, okay, you would see some property was changed, some other property was taken, and it was like dynamically it is changing. Due to that, okay, you have to again revisit that particular part and change it. uh, so in that case, such scenario, to avoid, what I would do is I would create a new module, basically. Right click, scan, and then uh, create a new module. And when I get a required module, let's say, so I got this one. So I want this credentials are provided. So this is one that I have scanned it, let's say. And then I'll just say right click, copy, and then go where you want that module. I want this, that element inside this. So I will come here, click, right click, and paste, or control V. So as soon as I do, so that element, which the new one that I had scanned, that element I am using in some other module over here. So you can keep it here, or okay, you can just drag and drop wherever you want. You can keep it that way. So no customer account, even it can be here or this. So uh, you can rearrange things, and yeah, that's it. So here we have got this module. So inside this login module, now if you see verify error message, so we don't even need these things, separate modules. Yes, we don't need. After clicking on login, as soon as you clicked on login, you can use the same module again and then use this. Or after this, we are expecting, since we are giving invalid username and password, we are expecting an error. So here itself you can just verify for an error message in one step, in everywhere, in just one module, one step. You can fulfill all the requirements. So I'll say enable equals to true, like this. That's it. So when you execute this one, this step, it enters password, it clicks login, it also verifies this. So that way we can do it. Yeah, I guess this should be fine. So even screenshots is what we have did, and we have came to know how we can rescan any of the element. But then yes, if you want, the best way is create a new module, and once you have done, you can just delete this. You don't use this, and all these elements, yes, we have used in this thing, and then wherever you need those elements, use this module instead of the new one. So we can delete this. uh, right click delete, and then if you just try to delete, if something somewhere it is used, it says login is used in 2 steps. So this module is used in 2 steps, which is what here it is used and here it is used. So this two, if you don't need, first delete those two, or if you just delete this one, and here as well it gets deleted. So that is what it shows. uh, So I'll say, yeah, this is fine, and I will just say I completed this test case. So yeah, this is
And it is
what.
vice versa also, Pradeep. Like, if you delete in test case, it can be deleted in modules as well.
No, because modules is main thing, and this is kind of, we can reuse this n number of times. So this login homepage or this page, this module, we can drag and drop in our first test case, in this test case, in this test case, and in any other test cases, we can drag, drop, copy multiple times. So module is the main base, you can say. But then uh, control Z. But then test step,
Test case.
uh, test step is what? Just specific to the test case, right? So test step is specific to the test case, and if you just delete, only that test case would get affected, but then that module won't be get affected because you are nowhere deleting. So module, if you just delete, okay, I will show you. Just click and I'm fine. I'll say okay, I have deleted. Come here. If you see this thing, you see now what it shows: no module attribute associated, no module. So verifying step is there, but no steps inside that actual steps. So no attributes are not there. So this, if you run, it won't even execute saying. So it was already showing, Tosca was already showing that there is no such modules associated or at this thing. So unable to run the selected, no feasible executor was found. Classic, cannot run with this step. So some sort of error because it is not referring to the correct one. So that is where it shows this one. So even this one, you see. So that's where you should be again careful whenever you are deleting some modules. Uh, so I've just restored it back because I haven't saved it. I have restored it back, and now if you see, it is fine. There's no such element like earlier error message thing or the warning, it is not showing. Now if you run, it would run because we would have that module. So earlier once it is deleted, jump to module, if you do, it won't go there because there's no such module thing. Yeah, but step, yes, you can just right click and delete. There is nothing like, okay, you deleted that step, but it is not going to delete the module, right? Uh,
How do you recollect that module, Pradeep? Do you use any
Control
short?
Z, Control Z, just
Okay, not.
reverting that previous section. But yeah, that would only work if you have not clicked on saved thing again. Just deleting and then coming back here, you are doing something and then going back again, you're on the same window. If you do Control Z, yes, it would work. But if you save that Control Z, even it won't work. So the previous thing, uh, previous action won't be stored in the system, and then even if you do Control Z after saving, it says there would be nothing, nothing is there.
There is no recovery type of thing, Pradeep.
For the modules for these things, you
Yeah,
say? No, modules recovery thing. There's nothing such. So yeah, before doing anything, deleting, you can kind of take a backup if you want. So modules, let's say you have did this, and you modules thing, if you want to take a backup, how you can do? Uh, Click on the modules, and then there's something called under home. There is something called export subset. So subset in the sense this thing as a subset we can export it. So click on here, and in Tosca projects, Tosca execution directory, I will give here my demo module, uh, demo modules. I'll say demo modules. This thing, demo web shop, to be more specific, modules. So that subset, right? So I can even say subset. That is according to us. So demo modules, I'll click on save. Once I save, so it exports, and once the export is finished, if you would see here, you would get this subset with .tsc file. So now the only this modules thing, only this modules, yes, as a subset we had used it, and saved it. Now that if you just want that modules thing in somewhere, you want to import it again, so what you can do, select this and click on import subset, and again same thing, you can just import. So mergeable items, choose the action that no, just import, I will say. And then if you see, yeah, under imports, if you see again, new standard modules, again it came, and application, same thing, demo, and then these things. You see here, we have got this thing. So we can take this one. So that this is kind of backup it acts. I guess this is fine, Nawaz. Hello. That's okay. So I'll jump on. So this one, this is where you can export, import subset. I'll just delete. I don't need this. So I'm clicking on save. Yeah, and test cases. Yes, I have created it. So screenshot is what we have taken. We have for module rescanning, copy pasting somewhere, and then doing it, renaming, following proper conventions, naming conventions in the test case, and uh, giving all this stuff. So, oh, what could be the other one that quickly, if I just have to? Uh, okay. So execution thing. Let's say now you want to execute the first test case and second test case. Since it is now working fine. So these two things, and also after verifying error message, I also want to close the browser. So how we can close the browser? Uh, we had already done in our previous session, close browser with the title as demo, right? So same thing, I will just give it here. So after taking screenshot, I want to just close this demo thing. So this is where I have completed two test cases. Now this two test cases, let's say if I just want to execute it, how I can execute? We can just select two test cases, right click, and then run in Scratchbook, so that it executes both the test cases. Uh, see, first test case, login, and clicked on login, verify, and closed. Then the next test case, has clicked on login and email, it has entered password and this thing and verifying error message and close the browser. So green, which means everything has passed. Now, if you see the log, it shows from here to here, it is actually first test case, but Scratchbook, it's nowhere differentiating that first test case is where the second test case is, and this is our second test case. So everything has just one step, one thing it has did. Uh, but then, and if you also see the screenshots, yes, we are taken a couple of screenshots, and then same thing we are getting again and again. I'll just clear this thing.
But that
Uh,
doesn't close and open the web browser again, right? But it is showing it was executed properly.
uh, tabs, actually these tabs were open, right? So Google Chrome was open, that's where it is just opening new tab, and opening new tab, doing demo web shop thing, closing, and then again opening new tab, demo web shop thing, and it is closing. So if you won't give this tab before execution, close everything, and then it does it that way. So I'll also show you that one. Okay. So also, was the previous execution pass fail? Once you, so this scratchbook, if you see, we would have it all these details, but then once you close the Tosca commander and when you relaunch, open, and come and see that scratchbook, you won't find anything here. So with that, what we can say is we won't be able to understand what was our previous run. Was it passed or failed? If failed, where it was failed and all. Yes, we won't get that details. So, which means the logs of the scratchbook is temporary. So in that case, since the logs are in temporary state, so what if we just want it to be stored, and whenever we want, we just want to refer it about our previous test cases, results, and status and all. So in that case, to execute your test case, you have something called executions. So execution section, if you go to execution section, we have all these things, just mainly focus on execution lists. Under execution list, here you can execute your test case. So how to execute? Right click, what all options we get? We get greatest configuration parameters, we get all this business module, this uh, create folders. So you can create folder if you want. I'll say in this folder, I would say testing demo web shop, anything, and then inside this again I can create folder, arrange it, or I can create execution list. So again I have to just say execution list. This is my first execution execution list, my first execution list. So under this, now we don't have any test cases. uh, if you want test case, okay, first test case is this. I will just click this, drag, go to the execution list, and then in the execution list I will drop it. As soon as I drop, yes, that test case would be shown here. So we have used, and then uh, if same way we can drag and drop the second test case, you can do it this way. So here we have got, likewise, if you want all whichever test cases to execute, click, drag, and drop over here. That is one thing. Or the other thing is, let's say I just want only one test case, and just drag this, go to your execution list. Here itself, if you just drop, Tosca would automatically create new execution list thing, and then it adds this one. So you can rename this to whatever you want, uh, and then this test case is there. Uh, Same way, uh, or you can just say, okay, I want to execute all the test cases under this folder. So if I have multiple folders and specific folder I want to do, or the main folder as well, we can do. So I want only this folder to execute, then click this folder, drag, drop onto your execution list, or the folder but not in the execution list. So either folder or this execution list thing. So I'll drag and drop here in the execution list and the new one. So if you see, the folder is been changed to this icon, this direction, and the name of that folder is this. So here under this, you can see the test cases. Test cases have been all the test cases coming. Now let's say if you have added some other test case. So test case 3 is what you have added and you have saved, you have done. Now if you go execution list here, that 3 has not come. What you have to do, explicitly drag this test case and drop it, so that third would be shown here. Or inside this, there is another option, which is just right click on that uh, folder, that execution list, and there is something called synchronize option. So synchronize is what it tries to sync this folder with that one and see if there are any changes. If there are any changes, you see that third test case was a change, so that change has come here. So we don't have to drag and drop it is already coming. So if you take the parent folder, and then what we can do here, we can just select which test case we want, right click and run only that individual test case we can run. Or we can again select multiple by pressing control click and right click and then run. So first it runs this, second it runs this, likewise it does. And yes, that way. Or if you just run this folder, it would run step by step all these test cases one by one after the other. It executes this test case. Or you can even execute this execution list. So it runs what
Ajib,
all
is there any
execution.
difference, executing the test case from test cases or from the execution module, like part, like?
Yeah, so as I was saying, in Scratchbook, if you want log this thing, how many passed, how many failed, which one failed, where it failed, and all that log, if you just close the Scratchbook Tosca Commander and relaunch, if you came again the next day, and if you see the previous run, you won't find anything, any details. But in execution list, so like these are my two test cases. What I will do is I'll just run, right click and run. So I will execute it. Now, if you see, you would more understand it than just telling it theoretically. So you say first test case is what, opening this thing and clicking on login and verifying welcome sign in page thing, and then close the browser. So it has closed. And then actually I should have closed the whole browser. But Aruna, yeah, here you can just close everything and then rerun this. You would get a browser opening and closing thing as well. So second test case here, yes, it has executed. You see these two things. First half was passed, which means one test case, the next half. Now, if you go here in this execution list, you would see now a clear logs, like, okay, green, 2. So this execution level, 2 and 2, which is what, four test cases we have. Out of that, 2 are green, which means 2 passed, and another 2 are empty, which means we didn't run it that way. And so the log of that test case again, if you see, so at 27:09 at this point of time, it has executed the steps, and this was the duration. And yeah, any log info if it is there, that one it shows. Verifications, some verifications, this thing. And second test case as well, similar log, and it also does this way. And then screenshots thing, you see, even screenshots when we take in the detail tab, it also shows us screenshots. So this was the screen at that point of time when it has executed this, and we have asked to take screenshot. So if you just double click this, you would see here, and then drag, keep it, make it long so that you can see the screenshot as well here itself in this. Or after execution, you can see in the directory where we have given, and there as well you can see the screenshots. That is where yes, you can do it. And there is another option while running, so we don't have to specify screenshots at each and every level. By default, if you want Tosca to identify that, there is some project settings that we have to do, and then you would get screenshots and a document, Word document, documented in one place. That I will go through later. For now, just let's go with only these things. So screenshots are also coming and the log. And now if you see, okay, it was executed this time. And now same thing, same test case. If we rerun it, select, or only I will select now second test case I want to run. And let's say if I just close the browser, uh, what I will do is now I've closed all the browser and now executing. So if you see, it should second test case. Second test case is what? Opening of Chrome browser and then clicking on login, entering invalid credentials, and then executing login, verifying, and closing of the browser. So it has closed the browser. If you see, the browser is not open now. It has closed. And if you see the log, so 27. So at 8:8 we did, and 8:11 at 8:11 uh, this was executed, and this was the second time. So you see this logs, this is two times. So how many times you run, that many times the log gets created. And if you want any specific log to refer, yes, you can refer it. uh, uh, the same thing is not the case with Scratchbook. So the main advantage is the logs would get stored, and if you want, we can execute that. And again, let's say if want to change some sort of configurations, so test configuration is also we have, and we can create again same thing, test configurations. So browser or URL, so different execution list you can create. So this execution list I will keep for QA URL, this one I would keep for dev URL, some sort of differentiations, whatever you want. And or browser, so when it is browser, I would want, okay, this execution list to execute on some other browser, I can give that some other value. I'll give Chrome, but some other value, yes, we can uh, give it that way. So even the test case wise, you can change the configurations, you can add for furthermore. So here, second test case, you want to execute it in some other browser for Firefox or okay, here it is there. So it is going to change only that one, the browser thing. If it is something different, yes, it uh, so I'll just reset it to the default one. Yeah. So that is where, yes, you can explicitly give the other browser parameters, any test configuration parameters specific to this test case. And yeah, so when you give, let's say this, you have given Firefox, you have given Firefox second test case and you are running. So whenever you would execute in this execution list, this test case, it executes in Firefox because the test configuration is set to Firefox. So it executes on that. Uh, but then in other execution list, here you have not set anything, or it shows already the default one that you have set in the test case. So it is Chrome, so it executes only in Chrome. So uh, so if you are not specifying any of the test configuration parameter in execution list, it takes the this thing. So it takes all the steps, like in this test case, whatever the test configurations are mentioned, it takes that value. But explicitly, if you give something, you are overriding. So in this case, it prefers taking the values, considering the test configuration parameters from the execution list. When you are running execution list, so it takes this configuration and it overrides this test configuration, the test cases test configuration. So this is important interview questions again. You have to be more careful. So what happens when we give test configuration parameter in execution list and also the test case has it, so which one it picks? So it picks the execution list which you have taken and not the test cases thing. And if you don't specify here, it takes the test cases thing in that case. So this is what execution log and all. And yeah, I would show how we can generate reports for this particular thing in later sections. Later sessions, I'll just show how we can generate reports and share it across the team. I think yeah, I'm done for today's session. So any questions, anything, any doubts, Aruna?
I have a few more, Pradeep, so I'll collect all and maybe I'll ask them tomorrow's first.
Sure, sure, that would be fine. Okay. Yes, yeah,
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
yeah. Thank you, Aruna.